Welcome back to our chilling series exploring the haunted corners of the Palmetto State, where history and horror intertwine in ways that defy explanation. In this sixth episode of Most Haunted Places in South Carolina, we delve deeper into the shadows cast by ghostly legends, uncovering tales so spine-tingling they'll leave you questioning the boundaries between the living and the dead. From antebellum plantations steeped in tragedy to Civil War battlefields frozen in time, South Carolina is a treasure trove of spectral stories rooted in sorrow, betrayal, and unrelenting despair. South Carolina's haunted places are more than just locations. They're vessels carrying the echoes of lives lived and lost. These sites bear witness to events that continue to reverberate through time, battles fought on hallowed ground, unspeakable crimes cloaked in secrecy, and the lingering presence of those who refuse to move on. Each place holds its own dark secrets, whispered through creaking floorboards, flickering lights, and disembodied voices that drift through empty halls. Whether you're drawn by morbid curiosity or an insatiable thirst for the supernatural, these destinations promise encounters that blur the line between reality and nightmare. In this episode, we'll journey to some of the most infamous haunted locales across South Carolina, places steeped in lore and fear, where the past refuses to stay buried. We'll peer into the shadowy depths of haunted mansions, explore eerie swamps cloaked in mystery, and tread cautiously through abandoned institutions teeming with restless spirits. Along the way, we'll hear first-hand accounts from witnesses brave enough to confront the unknown, examine chilling evidence captured by paranormal investigators, and unravel the tragic histories that give rise to these hauntings. So dim the lights, keep your ears sharp, and prepare yourself for a descent into the macabre. As we step into the haunted heart of South Carolina, remember, sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil, and once you cross it, there's no turning back. The Battery Carriage House Inn, a ghostly grandeur in Charleston. Nestled in the historic district of Charleston, the Battery Carriage House Inn stands as a monument to both luxury and despair, a grand Victorian-era masterpiece whose opulent facade conceals decades of tragedy and supernatural activity. Built in the late 19th century, the inn quickly became a retreat for affluent travelers seeking respite amidst the cobblestone streets, an antebellum charm of one of America's oldest cities. With its sweeping staircases, ornate woodwork, and panoramic views of the Charleston harbor, the inn epitomized elegance and sophistication. Yet beneath its polished exterior lay a darker narrative, one marked by scandal, violence, and untimely deaths. One of the most enduring legends tied to the Battery Carriage House and revolves around Room 8, said to be haunted by the spirit of a jilted lover named Rebecca. According to local lore, Rebecca checked into the inn in the early 20th century under the pretense of meeting her fiancé, only to discover he had abandoned her for another woman. Overcome with grief, she took her own life in the room, leaving behind a legacy of sorrow that continues to haunt visitors today. Guests staying in Room 8 frequently report strange occurrences, lights turning on and off by themselves, radios tuning to static-filled stations, and the overwhelming scent of roses lingering in the air. Some claim to wake up in the middle of the night to find their bedsheets tangled impossibly tight around their limbs, as if restrained by invisible hands. Another prominent figure in the inn's haunted lore is believed to be Captain Francis W. Dawson, a Confederate officer who frequented the property during the Civil War. Paranormal investigators exploring the inn have captured EVP recordings suggesting the presence of a male entity whispering phrases like, "retreat," and "hold the line." Witnesses describe seeing a shadowy figure resembling Dawson pacing anxiously near windows, clutching what appears to be a sword before vanishing without a trace. The inn's basement, once used for storage and laundry operations, has become a focal point of paranormal activity. Employees tasked with cleaning the area often describe hearing chains rattling and heavy footsteps echoing through the cavernous space, though no one else is present. Some claim to see shadowy figures dragging invisible loads, their movements jerky and unnatural. A particularly chilling account comes from a maintenance worker who swore he felt cold metal cuffs snap around his wrists, pulling him backward toward the darkness before releasing him abruptly. Overnight visitors to the Battery Carriage House and frequently recount bizarre experiences that defy logical explanation. Lights flicker unpredictably, especially in hallways leading to the older sections of the building. Doors slam shut on their own, and the scent of cigar smoke wafts through the air despite the inn's strict no-smoking policy. One guest described waking up to find his reflection in the mirror staring back at him, but not quite matching his movements, as if another entity stood behind him, mimicking his actions. Another recounted seeing a man in a dusty soldier's uniform standing at the foot of her bed, his hollow eyes boring into hers before vanishing without a sound. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, the Battery Carriage House remains a popular destination for history enthusiasts and thrill-seekers alike. Its rich tapestry of human drama, interwoven with tragedy and loss, creates an atmosphere unlike any other. For those brave enough to book a stay, the possibility of encountering Rebecca, Captain Dawson, or one of the countless other spirits said to roam its halls adds an element of excitement and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor crosses its threshold, they must decide whether they are ready to face the darkness that lingers within these walls, or will they become another chapter in the inn's tragic tale. The old Sheldon Church ruins, shadows of faith and sorrow deep in the moss-draped forests of Beaufort County, shrouded by ancient oaks and Spanish moss, lie the ruins of Old Sheldon Church, a once majestic Episcopal sanctuary that now stands as a testament to resilience and ruin. Built in 1753 and later rebuilt after being burned by British forces during the Revolutionary War, the church served as a spiritual haven for generations of worshippers. Today, its weathered brick walls and crumbling columns bear silent witness to the violence, desecration, and despair that plagued those who sought solace within its sacred grounds, and to the spirits that remain bound to its haunted ruins. One of the most pervasive legends tied to Old Sheldon Church centers around the graveyard, where countless souls were laid to rest over centuries. Historical records indicate that many graves were disturbed during periods of conflict, leaving bodies exposed and spirits unrest. Decades later, visitors exploring the site report hearing faint moans and cries emanating from the remnants of the cemetery. Some claim to see shadowy figures huddled in the corners, their faces obscured by darkness, while others describe feeling an oppressive weight pressing down on them as they approach the site. Another haunting figure associated with Old Sheldon Church is believed to be Reverend Alexander Hewitt, a fiery preacher who led the congregation during the late 18th century. According to local lore, Reverend Hewitt delivered impassioned sermons calling for resistance against British tyranny, earning him enemies among occupying forces. His ghost is said to wander the nave, his ethereal form clad in clerical robes. Guests visiting the ruins have reported seeing a pale figure pacing restlessly near the altar, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Others describe hearing faint whispers of prayer and hymns, as though someone is conducting a service. The church's surrounding woods, thick with underbrush and towering trees, have also gained a reputation for paranormal activity. Visitors walking among the weathered headstones often feel an inexplicable sense of dread, as though unseen eyes are watching their every move. Shadows flit across peripheral vision, disappearing when directly observed. Some claim to hear disembodied voices calling out names unfamiliar to modern ears, believed to be the voices of parishioners buried without proper markers. Others report seeing apparitions of men and women in period clothing, their faces gaunt and weary, standing silently amidst the graves. Paranormal investigators exploring Old Sheldon Church have documented numerous instances of unexplained phenomena. EMF detectors routinely spike in certain areas, particularly near the altar and the graveyard. EVP recordings capture faint whispers pleading for help, interspersed with anguished cries. One investigator captured a chilling photograph of a translucent figure standing in the doorway of the ruins, its hands raised as if begging for mercy. These findings have solidified the site's reputation as one of South Carolina's most active haunted locations. Despite, or perhaps because of, its grim history, Old Sheldon Church continues to attract curious souls eager to confront its spectral inhabitants. For many, visiting the site serves as both a pilgrimage and a reckoning, an opportunity to honor the lives lost and acknowledge the sacrifices made in pursuit of faith and freedom. Whether you're drawn by the allure of its haunting beauty or the weight of its tragic legacy, Old Sheldon Church offers an unforgettable experience where the past refuses to fade quietly into oblivion. The Litchfield Plantation whispers beneath the live oaks perched along the marshlands of Pawleys Island, Litchfield Plantation stands as a testament to the resilience of South Carolina's antebellum elite, a majestic estate built in the mid-18th century that has witnessed decades of prosperity, scandal, and personal vendettas. Its sprawling fields, towering live oaks, and elegant plantation house evoke a sense of permanence and tradition, yet within its halls lie stories of betrayal, murder, and vengeful spirits unwilling to fade into obscurity. One of the most infamous incidents tied to Litchfield Plantation occurred in the early 19th century, when Colonel Benjamin Huger, patriarch of the influential Huger family, was found dead under suspicious circumstances. Rumors swirled about foul play involving rival landowners and political enemies, though no conclusive evidence emerged. Locals believe his ghost haunts the plantation house, pacing anxiously as though still deliberating over the fateful decisions that led to his demise. Visitors have reported hearing faint footsteps descending the staircase, followed by a deafening crash, as though someone has fallen again. Others describe seeing a pale man staring mournfully out of upstairs windows, his expression frozen in eternal anguish. Another prominent figure in the plantation's haunted lore is believed to be Emily Huger, the youngest daughter of Colonel Huger, whose life ended in tragedy. According to family accounts, Emily fell deeply in love with a Union soldier during the Civil War, a union forbidden by her father. When news of their secret engagement reached him, Colonel Huger forbade the match, prompting Emily to flee the plantation in despair. She was later found drowned in the nearby marshes, her body bruised and battered. Since then, visitors to the plantation report seeing a spectral figure perched precariously on the balcony railing, gazing downward as though contemplating a leap. Others describe hearing faint sobs carried by the wind, accompanied by the splash of water rippling against the riverbanks. Adding to the plantation's haunted allure are the countless gatherings and celebrations that took place within its walls during its heyday. Many believe residual energy from these events remains trapped within the structure, manifesting as phantom sounds of laughter, music, and conversation. At night, when the mansion is bathed in moonlight, some visitors swear they can hear the distant strains of a piano and the low murmur of revelry, as though a party from another era continues to unfold. Paranormal investigators exploring Litchfield Plantation have captured compelling evidence of its supernatural activity. Thermal cameras reveal cold spots concentrated near the staircase and the balcony railing, where many of the tragedies unfolded. Audio recordings pick up fragmented phrases like "help me" and "don't let go," delivered in tones of sheer desperation. One particularly unsettling discovery came when a team member set up motion-activated cameras overnight, capturing footage of a translucent figure standing motionless at the midpoint of the staircase before vanishing without explanation. Despite, or perhaps because of, its haunted reputation, Litchfield Plantation remains a popular destination for tourists and locals alike. Its picturesque setting and rich history make it a favorite spot for photography and leisurely strolls. For those brave enough to venture inside after dark, the promise of encountering Emily or one of the countless other spirits said to linger adds an element of fascination and trepidation. Yet, as each new visitor steps onto the plantation grounds, they must ask themselves, are they prepared to face the echoes of the past, or will they become another chapter in the plantation's macabre legacy? Patterns across South Carolina's haunted places, themes of tragedy and resilience as we traverse the haunted landscapes of South Carolina, from the opulent halls of Puggin's Porch to the somber grounds of Old Sheldon Church. Striking similarities emerge that transcend individual locations and histories. These patterns are not merely coincidental but reflect universal themes of human emotion, unresolved trauma, and the enduring power of memory. From the wailing wards of hospitals to the shadowed basements of monuments, these sites share a commonality that binds them together in a spectral sisterhood of sorrow and suspense. One recurring motif is the concept of unfinished business. Whether it's the victims of unethical experiments, or the betrayed trust of patients subjected to inhumane treatments, these spirits seem tethered to the earthly realm by grievances left unaddressed. Their presence manifests as restless energy, often communicated through auditory phenomena, cries, whispers, or disembodied voices, that serve as pleas for acknowledgement or closure. This theme resonates across cultures and belief systems, reflecting humanity's innate need to resolve conflict and seek peace, even in death. Another shared characteristic is the role of architecture in amplifying paranormal activity. Historic buildings, with their labyrinthine corridors, thick walls, and hidden alcoves, create environments conducive to isolating individuals and heightening fear. These structural elements act as metaphors for the psychological barriers erected by those who suffered within their confines, trapping emotions such as anger, despair, and regret. It's no coincidence that many reported hauntings occur in spaces imbued with emotional significance: operating rooms where surgeries went awry, basements where bodies were stored, or wards where patients met tragic ends. Lighting and sensory manipulation also feature prominently in these narratives. Flickering lights, sudden temperature drops, and inexplicable odors are staples of ghostly encounters, designed to disorient and unsettle. Such phenomena strip away the comfort of familiarity, forcing guests to confront the unknown. The use of mirrors, a recurring element in stories from various haunted hospitals, adds another layer of psychological tension, as reflections distort perception and blur the boundary between self and other. This interplay of light and shadow becomes a tool wielded by unseen forces, creating moments of visceral terror that linger long after the initial shock subsides. Finally, the prevalence of historical context cannot be overstated. Each location's haunting is deeply rooted in its unique past, shaped by the socio-cultural milieu of its time. The brutal medical practices embedded in the DNA of older establishments contrast sharply with the glamorous yet tragic lives immortalized in urban legends. Yet both narratives tap into broader archetypes of ambition, betrayal, and mortality, ensuring their resonance with audiences regardless of personal experience. By drawing on these universal motifs, these haunted places transform from mere buildings into living repositories of collective memory, inviting us to peer into the abyss of our shared humanity. Thus, while each establishment boasts its own distinct flavor of fright, the underlying threads connecting them reveal a tapestry rich with meaning. These patterns remind us that the supernatural is not so much about the entities themselves but the stories they tell, the echoes of lives interrupted, passions extinguished, and truths obscured. As we continue to explore these haunted locales, we find ourselves grappling not only with the specters of the past but with the timeless questions they raise about life, death, and everything in between. As we bring this chilling journey through South Carolina's most haunted places to a close, one thing becomes abundantly clear: the spirits of the past refuse to be silenced. Each creaking floorboard, each whispered name, and each fleeting shadow serves as a testament to lives lived, lost, and lingering in the spaces we dare to call haunted. These stories are more than mere campfire tales. They are fragments of history, stitched together by human emotion, tragedy, and the relentless passage of time. They remind us that the line between the living and the dead is far thinner than we might believe, and that sometimes, the most terrifying truths lie just beyond the veil. But why stop here? If these accounts have stirred something within you, a spark of curiosity, a shiver of excitement, I urge you to take the next step. Visit one of South Carolina's haunted places yourself. Walk the same halls where spirits are said to roam, stand in the rooms where history's echoes reverberate, and let the unknown brush against your senses. Whether you're a skeptic seeking proof or a believer eager to commune with the other side, these forsaken institutions offer an unparalleled opportunity to confront the mysteries that lie just beyond comprehension. There's nothing quite like experiencing the weight of decades-old despair firsthand, feeling the chill of a presence that defies explanation, or hearing the faint strains of voices from another time. And when you return, share your story. Did you feel the icy touch of a ghostly hand? Hear the faint tap of footsteps in an empty corridor? Or perhaps nothing happened at all, but isn't that silence just as intriguing? Your experiences add to the rich tapestry of lore surrounding these haunted places, ensuring their legacies endure for generations to come. Share your findings with fellow enthusiasts, document your journey, and keep the conversation alive. After all, every whisper contributes to the symphony of the supernatural. Until then, keep your lanterns lit and your courage steady. The spirits are waiting.